Hello to all fans of Naruto Lemon. I will post all Naruto Lemon Yaoi, Yuri, or Naruko Lemon stories only on the Boosty channel because Uncle YouTube condemns this. Therefore, I invite everyone who wants Naruto Lemon content to my Boosty channel. Good luck.
お前はどこまで見えている俺の死に様か
Chapter 11, The New Mission, A Test of Strength and Unity. The village of Konoha buzzed with a sense of anticipation as the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting warm light over the streets and buildings. The recent victory over a formidable enemy had left the village in high spirits, but the shinobi knew better than to let their guard down. Peace, as they had all learned, was often fleeting. In the Hokage's office, Tsunade stood by the window, her arms crossed as she watched the villagers below. Her gaze was sharp, reflecting the weight of her responsibilities. There was no time to rest, a new threat was brewing at the borders of the Land of Fire, and she needed her best team on the job. A knock on the door pulled her from her thoughts. "Enter," she called, turning back to face her desk. The door creaked open, and Team 7 stepped inside. Naruko, with her signature bright smile, led the way. Sasuke followed closely behind, his usual calm and composed demeanor in place, though there was a subtle warmth in his eyes that hadn't been there before. Sakura and Kakashi brought up the rear, both equally attentive and ready for whatever mission awaited them. "You wanted to see us, Lady Tsunade?" Kakashi asked, his tone respectful, but curious. Tsunade nodded and gestured for them to take a seat. "Yes, I have a mission for you, one that's both urgent and delicate." She handed them a scroll, which Kakashi took and unrolled. As Kakashi read, his one visible eye narrowed. "Attacks on border villages, strange icy remnants." This sounds familiar. Naruko leaned in closer, her curiosity piqued. "Icy remnants? Like my ice jutsu?" Tsunade nodded, her expression serious. "Precisely. Reports from the border suggest that whoever or whatever is responsible is using ice-based techniques similar to yours, Naruko. We need to find out who is behind these attacks and put a stop to them before they cause more harm." Naruko's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and concern. The idea of another shinobi using ice techniques intrigued her, but the thought that they might be an enemy made her uneasy. "We won't let you down, Lady Tsunade," she said, determination clear in her voice. Sasuke glanced at Naruko, noticing the fire in her eyes. He could sense that this mission was personal for her, and that only fueled his resolve to protect her and ensure their success. "We'll handle it," he said firmly. Tsunade offered them a brief smile. "I know you will. This mission is of the utmost importance. I'm counting on you all." With a nod, Kakashi signaled for the team to leave, and they made their way out of the office, the weight of the mission pressing down on their shoulders. As they walked through the village, their minds were already focused on the task ahead. The journey begins. Team 7 didn't waste any time. Within hours, they were packed and ready, departing Konoha at a brisk pace. The journey to the border would take a couple of days, and they knew that every moment counted. As they traveled, the landscape gradually changed from the familiar forests and hills of the Land of Fire to the more rugged, snow-dusted terrain closer to the border. The air grew colder, the wind sharper, but Naruko barely noticed. Her mind was too busy racing with thoughts of the mission, of the mysterious enemy who wielded ice like she did. Sasuke, ever observant, noticed her silence. "You're thinking too hard," he said, breaking the quiet between them. Naruko glanced at him, startled. "Huh? What do you mean?" "You've been quiet since we left the village," Sasuke pointed out, his tone gentle but firm. "Whatever happens, we'll handle it together. Don't let it weigh you down." Naruko blinked, surprised by his concern. Sasuke wasn't usually one to offer comfort, but lately, he had been different, more open, more willing to show that he cared. She smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her despite the cold. "Thanks, Sasuke. I guess I'm nervous. If this person really does have ice powers like mine, what if they're stronger? What if I can't stop them? Sasuke shook his head. You're stronger than you think, Naruko. Don't doubt yourself. We've faced worse, and we've always come out on top. This will be no different. His words, simple yet sincere, eased the tension in Naruko's chest. She nodded, her confidence returning. You're right. We've got this. Kakashi, who had been listening quietly, smiled beneath his mask. That's the spirit. Remember, this isn't just about strength, it's about strategy. We've got each other's backs, so let's make sure we come out of this in one piece. Sakura, walking beside them, added, and if things get tough, we'll figure it out together. We've been through too much to let anything tear us apart now. With their spirits lifted, the team continued their journey, the cold air invigorating them rather than deterring them. They moved swiftly, their senses sharp as they neared the border. The closer they got, the more they could feel the tension in the air, as if the land itself was bracing for a coming storm. The first encounter. By the time they reached the first of the affected villages, the sun was setting, casting long shadows over the snow-covered ground. The village was eerily quiet, with only a few flickering lights in the windows suggesting any signs of life. Team 7 approached cautiously, their guard up. As they entered the village, they were met by the headman, an elderly man with deep lines etched into his weathered face. He greeted them with a weary nod, his eyes filled with relief. Thank you for coming, Shinobi of Konoha, the headman said, his voice shaky with age and worry. We've been living in fear ever since the attack started. It's been weeks now, and each time, it's like a force of nature sweeps through, leaving nothing but ice and destruction in its wake. Kakashi stepped forward, his tone calm and reassuring. We're here to help. Can you tell us everything you know about the attacks? Any detail, no matter how small, could be important. The headman nodded and led them to a small gathering hall where a fire crackled in the hearth, offering some warmth against the chill. As they sat down, he began to recount the events. It started about a month ago, the headman explained. At first, it was just strange noises in the night, howling winds, crackling ice. Then, one night, an entire section of the village was frozen solid. Houses, trees, even some of our people, they were encased in ice. We managed to break them free, but the damage was done. Since then, the attacks have been random, but always the same: ice, cold, and destruction. Naruko listened intently, her heart sinking as she imagined the terror the villagers must have felt. Did you see who or what was causing it? She asked, her voice steady, despite the unease she felt. The headman shook his head. No one has seen the attacker, clearly. Some of the villagers claim to have seen a figure in the distance, cloaked in shadows, but whenever we try to approach, they disappear into the night, leaving only the ice behind. Sasuke's eyes narrowed in thought. A shinobi who can control ice on this scale. They must be skilled, possibly even on the level of an elite ninja. Kakashi nodded in agreement. It sounds like someone with a deep connection to ice-based jutsu. We need to be cautious. Sakura leaned forward, her brow furrowed with concern. Is there anything else you can tell us? Any patterns to the attacks? A specific time or place? The headman thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. They usually come just before dawn, when the night is at its coldest. And they seem to target the outskirts of the village first, as if testing our defenses before moving inward. Kakashi stood, signaling the end of their discussion. Thank you. We'll set up a perimeter tonight and keep watch. If the attacker returns, we'll be ready. The headman thanked them again, his gratitude evident despite his lingering fear. As they left the hall, the villagers watched them with a mix of hope and apprehension, placing their trust in the shinobi to protect them. Nightfall and preparation. As night fell, Team 7 began setting up their defenses. Naruko and Sasuke took the first watch, stationed on the outskirts of the village where the attacks were most likely to occur. The air was frigid, and the snow crunched beneath their feet as they moved into position. Naruko created several ice barriers around the village, each one infused with her chakra to detect any disturbances. Sasuke, meanwhile, scouted the area, his Sharingan activated to catch any signs of movement or unusual chakra signatures. The night was eerily quiet, the only sound being the faint rustle of the wind through the trees. Naruko felt the cold seeping into her bones, but she ignored it, her focus entirely on the task at hand. Sasuke returned to her side, his expression unreadable. "Nothing so far," he reported. "But we should stay alert. This enemy is skilled at hiding their presence." Naruko nodded, her eyes scanning the darkened landscape. "I know. It's like they're waiting for the perfect moment to strike." They stood in silence for a moment, the tension between them palpable. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Naruko couldn't help but feel a strange comfort in Sasuke's presence. He had become her anchor in these uncertain times, and knowing he was there made the waiting bearable. Suddenly, Naruko's eyes widened as she sensed a disturbance in one of her ice barriers. "Something's coming," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Sasuke tensed, his hand moving to his sword. "Get ready." The air around them grew colder, the temperature dropping rapidly as a thick fog began to roll in from the forest. The fog was unnatural, swirling with an icy energy that sent chills down their spines. Out of the fog, a figure emerged, tall, cloaked, and exuding an aura of cold that was almost suffocating. The figure's face was hidden beneath a hood, but the glint of their eyes was visible, reflecting the icy blue of the snow. Naruko's breath caught in her throat. There was something familiar about this person, something that resonated with her own chakra. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice strong despite the fear gnawing at her. The figure didn't respond. Instead, they raised a hand, and the air around them began to crackle with frost. A wave of ice shot forward, aimed directly at Naruko and Sasuke. Sasuke reacted instantly, drawing his sword and slicing through the ice with a burst of chakra. Naruko followed suit, countering with her own ice jutsu to deflect the attack. The clash of ice against ice sent shards flying in all directions, illuminating the night with flashes of blue light. The figure stepped forward, undeterred by their defense. With a swift motion, they unleashed another wave of ice, this time stronger and more concentrated. Naruko gritted her teeth, her chakra flaring as she pushed back with all her might. The force of the attack was overwhelming, and she could feel her energy draining rapidly. Beside her, Sasuke was holding his ground, but she could sense the strain in his movements. "This isn't good," Naruko muttered, her breath coming in short gasps. "They're stronger than we thought." Sasuke's eyes narrowed, his Sharingan analyzing the enemy's movements. "We need to find their weakness," he said, his voice calm but urgent. "There has to be something we can exploit." The figure paused, as if sensing their struggle, and then lowered their hand. The ice receded, and the fog began to dissipate, revealing their full form. Naruko's eyes widened in shock as she saw the person's face, pale, with sharp features and cold, calculating eyes that mirrored her own. There was no doubt about it. This person was connected to her in some way, perhaps even sharing the same bloodline. "Who are you?" Naruko repeated, her voice shaking slightly. "Why are you doing this?" The figure finally spoke, their voice low and emotionless. "I am the one who was left behind, forgotten by the world. But now, I will remind them of the power of our bloodline, the power of the ice." Naruko's heart skipped a beat. The implications of their words were staggering, and she felt a chill run down her spine that had nothing to do with the cold. "What do you mean?" The figure didn't answer. Instead, they raised their hand again, summoning a massive storm of ice and snow that engulfed the entire area. The wind howled, and the ground trembled as the force of the storm grew stronger, threatening to consume everything in its path. Sasuke grabbed Naruko's arm, pulling her back as they retreated to a safer distance. "We need to regroup," he said urgently. "We can't take them on like this." Naruko nodded, her mind racing. They were outmatched, at least for now, and they needed to come up with a new strategy. "Let's fall back and find the others. We need to figure out who this person is and what they want." Together, they turned and sprinted back towards the village, the icy storm raging behind them. The enemy didn't pursue, but Naruko could feel their cold gaze following them, a reminder that this battle was far from over. As they reached the edge of the village, they were met by Kakashi and Sakura, who had sensed the disturbance and come to their aid. What happened? Kakashi asked, his tone serious as he assessed the situation. Naruko took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. We found the enemy, or rather, they found us. They're incredibly strong, and they're using ice techniques, just like mine. Sakura's eyes widened in surprise. Another ice user? But that's so rare. Kakashi frowned, his mind working quickly. This complicates things. If they're as powerful as you say, we'll need to come up with a new plan. We can't afford to underestimate them. Naruko nodded, her resolve hardening. I won't let them hurt anyone else. Whatever it takes, we'll stop them. Sasuke placed a hand on her shoulder, a silent show of support. We'll figure it out. Together. Kakashi nodded in agreement. For now, let's regroup and gather more information. We need to understand who this person is, and what they're after before we can make our next move. With a plan in place, Team 7 retreated to the safety of the village, the echoes of the icy storm still lingering in the air. As they prepared for the next phase of their mission, one thing was clear: this battle was just beginning, and the stakes were higher than ever. Chapter 12, The Battle for Konoha, Uniting Against the Storm. The cold wind howled through the trees as dawn approached, casting a pale light over the village of Konoha. The air was thick with tension, a sense of impending doom hanging over the village as its shinobi prepared for the battle ahead. The mysterious enemy, whose ice techniques rivaled those of Naruko, was closing in, and everyone knew that this would be no ordinary fight. Naruko stood at the edge of the village, her gaze fixed on the horizon. She could feel the icy chakra in the distance, growing stronger by the minute. The previous encounter had shaken her, but it had also steeled her resolve. This wasn't just about protecting Konoha, it was about facing a part of herself that she didn't fully understand. Beside her, Sasuke silently watched her, his keen eyes reading the emotions that flickered across her face. He knew that this battle was personal for Naruko, but he also knew that she was stronger than she gave herself credit for. Naruko, he said quietly, breaking the silence. Remember, we're in this together. Don't try to shoulder everything on your own. Naruko turned to him, her expression softening at his words. I know, Sasuke. I'm just worried. Whoever this person is, they're not just powerful, they're like me. I can't help but wonder if I'm really ready to face them. Sasuke's gaze hardened, a fierce determination burning in his eyes. You're more than ready. You've come so far, Naruko. We've all seen it. And whatever happens, we'll fight together. You're not alone. Naruko nodded, her resolve strengthening. You're right. I'm not alone. She looked out at the village, her heart swelling with a fierce protectiveness. We're going to protect Konoha, no matter what. As the first rays of sunlight peeked over the horizon, the village stirred to life. The shinobi of Konoha, each one a seasoned warrior in their own right, gathered at the main gates, ready to defend their home. Tsunade stood at the forefront, her expression grim but resolute as she addressed the assembled shinobi. We don't know the full extent of the threat we're facing, she began, her voice carrying over the crowd. But we do know this: our enemy is powerful and has already caused significant damage. We cannot allow them to breach our defenses. Konoha's safety depends on all of us working together. Naruko and Sasuke joined their comrades at the front lines, with Kakashi and Sakura close behind. The weight of the mission pressed down on them, but there was no room for fear now. The battle was upon them, and they would face it with everything they had. The storm approaches. The wind picked up, swirling through the trees and sending a shiver down the spines of the waiting shinobi. The icy chakra in the distance grew closer, a palpable force that sent ripples of unease through the ranks. Naruko could feel it in her bones: a storm was coming, and it would test them all in ways they hadn't imagined. From the edge of the forest, the enemy emerged, their figure cloaked in a swirling mist of ice and snow. The figure moved with an eerie grace, their presence commanding the attention of every shinobi present. This was no ordinary foe, this was someone who had mastered the elements in a way that few could. Naruko's breath caught as she recognized the figure from the night before, the same cold, calculating eyes, the same aura of icy power. But now, there was something more, something darker, that made the air crackle with tension. The figure stopped just beyond the gates, their gaze sweeping over the assembled shinobi, before settling on Naruko. "So," they said, their voice cold and distant, "you brought your forces to defend this village. But do you truly believe you can stop me?" Naruko stepped forward, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. "We'll do whatever it takes to protect our home," she replied, her voice steady, despite the fear gnawing at her. "Whoever you are, you won't succeed." The figure's lips curled into a faint, mocking smile. Bold words. But words won't save you from what's to come. With a wave of their hand, the air around them shimmered, and a massive wave of ice surged forward, crashing against the gates with a force that shook the ground. The battle had begun. The first clash. As the ice wave crashed into the gates, the shinobi of Konoha sprang into action. Naruko moved with lightning speed, her hands flying through a series of seals as she countered the attack with her own ice jutsu. The two forces collided, sending shards of ice scattering in all directions. Sasuke was at her side in an instant, his Sharingan activated as he assessed the situation. "We need to push them back," he said, his voice calm but urgent. "If they breach the gates, it'll be chaos." Naruko nodded, focusing her chakra as she prepared for the next attack. "Right. Let's go." With a burst of speed, the two launched themselves at the enemy, their combined power a force to be reckoned with. Sasuke led the charge, his sword slicing through the air as he unleashed a barrage of fire jutsu, the flames roaring to life as they met the icy onslaught. Naruko followed close behind, her ice techniques weaving through the flames in a dance of elements. She could feel the strain of the battle, the weight of each attack as it clashed with the enemy's power, but she refused to back down. The enemy moved with a fluid grace, their ice jutsu flowing seamlessly as they countered each of Naruko and Sasuke's attacks. It was as if they were one with the elements, their movements precise and unyielding. But Team 7 wasn't about to let them have the upper hand. Kakashi and Sakura joined the fray, their combined strength adding to the intensity of the battle. Kakashi's lightning jutsu crackled through the air, striking with deadly accuracy, while Sakura's immense strength shattered the ground beneath their feet, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. Despite their efforts, the enemy seemed to anticipate their every move, countering each attack with an ease that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Naruko's frustration grew as she realized they were barely making a dent in their defenses. "We need to find a way to break through," she shouted, her voice strained as she blocked another wave of ice. Kakashi nodded, his mind racing as he searched for a weakness. "Their control over ice is incredible, but it's not invincible. We need to disrupt their concentration, force them to split their focus." Sasuke's eyes narrowed as he considered Kakashi's words. "Naruko, you and I will go after them directly. Sakura, Kakashi, support us from the sides. If we can force them into a corner, we might be able to break their defenses." The plan was risky, but it was the best chance they had. With a shared nod, the team moved into position, their chakra flaring as they prepared for the next assault. A battle of wills. Naruko and Sasuke charged forward, their combined power a fierce whirlwind of ice and fire. The enemy's eyes narrowed as they met the attack head-on, their own ice technique swirling around them in a protective barrier. Naruko's heart pounded in her chest as she unleashed a series of powerful ice jutsu, her chakra straining as she pushed herself to the limit. She could feel the enemy's power pressing back against her, cold and relentless, but she refused to give in. Sasuke was by her side, his Sharingan tracking the enemy's movements with pinpoint precision. He could see the subtle shifts in their chakra, the way their techniques flowed from one to the next, without hesitation. But he also saw something else, a momentary flicker of strain, a sign that their control wasn't as perfect as it seemed. "There!" Sasuke shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. They're starting to weaken, press the attack. Naruko didn't need to be told twice. She focused her chakra into a single, powerful burst, sending a massive wave of ice crashing towards the enemy. At the same time, Sasuke unleashed a torrent of flames, the heat searing through the cold air as it collided with the enemy's defenses. The force of the combined attack was overwhelming, and for the first time, the enemy faltered. Their ice barrier cracked under the pressure, the strain of maintaining it evident in their tense posture. Kakashi and Sakura seized the opportunity, launching their own attacks to further destabilize the enemy. Kakashi's lightning jutsu struck with pinpoint accuracy, while Sakura's earth-shattering punches sent shockwaves through the ground, causing the enemy to stagger. Naruko could feel the shift in the battle, the tide slowly turning in their favor. But she also knew that this was far from over. The enemy was powerful, and they weren't about to go down without a fight. The enemy's eyes flashed with anger as they realized their defenses were crumbling. With a fierce shout, they unleashed a powerful blast of icy wind, sending Team 7 flying backwards. Naruko barely managed to catch herself, skidding to a stop as the cold bit into her skin. But she wasn't deterred. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the moment to strike. Sasuke. Chapter 13, Aftermath and Reflection, A New Era for Konoha. The dawn sky painted a pale canvas over Konoha, the village now a quiet contrast to the chaos that had engulfed it hours earlier. The battle was over, but its echoes lingered in the chilled air. Naruko stood at the edge of the village, surveying the aftermath with a mixture of relief and exhaustion. The mysterious enemy, a reflection of her own power, had been defeated through the combined efforts of Team 7 and the village's shinobi. The cost had been high, but they had emerged victorious, their bond and resolve stronger than ever. Naruko glanced at Sasuke, who was similarly scanning the horizon. His face, usually so composed, now held a trace of weariness. "We did it," she said softly, the words a mix of affirmation and disbelief. Sasuke nodded, his gaze steady. "Yes, we did. But this is just the beginning. We need to ensure that nothing like this ever threatens Konoha again." Naruko nodded in agreement. "Right. We need to be prepared for anything." As they stood there, reflecting on the battle and its implications, the rest of Team 7 joined them. Kakashi and Sakura, both showing signs of fatigue but with a sense of accomplishment in their eyes, approached. "Kakashi-sensei, Sakura," Naruko greeted them, her voice warm with gratitude. Kakashi gave his signature ice smile. "You all did well. We've proven that when we stand together, we can overcome any challenge." Sakura placed a hand on Naruko's shoulder. "And you, Naruko, showed incredible strength and courage. You've grown so much." Naruko blushed at the praise. But her eyes shone with determination. "I couldn't have done it without all of you. We're a team. The village rebuilds." The days that followed were filled with the sounds of rebuilding and recovery. The villagers and shinobi worked tirelessly to repair the damage and restore Konoha to its former glory. Despite the destruction, there was a palpable sense of hope and renewal in the air. Naruko threw herself into the efforts, using her ice techniques to assist in the reconstruction. She created ice scaffolding for builders, helped to clear debris, and even used her abilities to provide much-needed water supplies. The villagers were grateful, and Naruko felt a deep sense of satisfaction in contributing to the village's recovery. Sasuke, too, was heavily involved. His strategic mind and sharp eyes were invaluable in coordinating efforts and ensuring that everything proceeded smoothly. Together, Naruko and Sasuke became a symbol of hope and resilience for the village, their bond inspiring those around them. A time for reflection. One evening, after a long day of work, Naruko and Sasuke found themselves alone on the Hokage monument, overlooking the village. The stars twinkled above them, and the village below was a testament to their hard work and unity. Naruko sighed, her breath visible in the cool night air. "It's hard to believe how much has happened. We've come so far." Sasuke nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Yes. And we've learned a lot. About ourselves, our powers, and our responsibilities." Naruko turned to look at him, her eyes searching his face. Do you ever wonder what's next for us, Sasuke? Now that we've faced this challenge, what's our next step? Sasuke's gaze met hers, his eyes filled with a mixture of determination and tenderness. I think our next step is to keep growing, to keep protecting what's important to us. We've seen what we can accomplish together. Now we need to build on that, to ensure that Konoha remains safe and strong. Naruko smiled, her heart swelling with pride and affection. I like the sound of that. Together, we can face anything. A new era. As the weeks turned into months, Konoha continued to flourish. The village's recovery was a testament to the strength and unity of its people. New bonds were forged, and old ones were strengthened, creating a community that was more resilient than ever. Naruko and Sasuke became integral figures in this new era. Their leadership and courage inspired others, and their bond served as a reminder of what could be achieved when people worked together. They trained new generations of shinobi, passing on their knowledge and experience, and ensuring that Konoha would be prepared for any future challenges. One day, as they stood together at the Hokage monument, looking out over the bustling village, Naruko took a deep breath and let it out slowly. We've come so far, haven't we? Sasuke nodded, a rare smile tugging at the corners of his lips. Yes, we have. And this is just the beginning. There's still so much to do, so much to achieve. Naruko reached out and took his hand, her heart filled with a sense of peace and determination. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. As a team, as friends, and as partners. Sasuke squeezed her hand gently, his gaze filled with a quiet resolve. Together. The end of a journey, the beginning of another. The story of Naruko and Sasuke, of their battles, their growth, and their unbreakable bond, was one that would be told for generations. They had faced incredible challenges, but they had emerged stronger, their hearts and spirits united. As they looked out over the village they had fought so hard to protect, they knew that their journey was far from over. There would be new challenges, new adventures, and new opportunities to grow. But they would face them together, with the same courage and determination that had brought them this far. In the end, it was their bond, their love, and their unwavering commitment to each other and to their village that defined them. And as they stood together, hand in hand, they knew that they were ready for whatever the future held. Epilogue, A New Dawn. Years later, Konoha stood as a beacon of hope and strength. A testament to the courage and resilience of its people. The village had grown and evolved, but the spirit of unity and determination that had carried it through the darkest times remained as strong as ever. Naruko and Sasuke, now leaders in their own right, continued to guide and inspire those around them. Their legacy was one of love, strength, and unwavering dedication to their village and each other. As the sun rose over the Hokage monument, casting its golden light over the village, Naruko and Sasuke stood together, their hearts filled with hope and anticipation for the future. And so, their story continued, a never-ending journey of growth, love, and endless possibilities. Chapter 14, The Proposal, A New Beginning for Two Hearts. The gentle hum of summer evenings had returned to Konoha, filling the air with a sense of tranquility and warmth. The village, now flourishing and vibrant, was a testament to the resilience and unity of its people. Life had returned to a semblance of normalcy, but for Naruko and Sasuke, a new chapter was about to begin. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Naruko and Sasuke found themselves once again on the Hokage monument, their favorite spot to reflect on the journey they had shared. The view of the village below was breathtaking, a serene reminder of the life they had built together. Naruko leaned against the stone, her eyes closed as she took in the peaceful evening. It's hard to believe how much has changed, she said softly, her voice filled with a mix of nostalgia and contentment. It feels like just yesterday we were fighting for Konoha's survival. Sasuke stood beside her, his gaze fixed on the horizon. We've come a long way. And through everything, we've been there for each other. Naruko turned to him, her eyes meeting his with a look of deep affection. We have. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Sasuke's heart swelled at her words. He had known for a long time that Naruko was the person he wanted to spend his life with. Her strength, her kindness, and her unwavering support had made him realize just how important she was to him. And tonight, he was ready to take the next step in their journey together. With a deep breath, Sasuke reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, velvet box. The setting sun cast a warm glow over him as he turned to Naruko, his eyes filled with a mixture of nervousness and hope. "Naruko," he began, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. "There's something I've been wanting to ask you." Naruko's heart skipped a beat as she looked at him, her curiosity piqued. "What is it, Sasuke?" Sasuke opened the box, revealing a beautiful engagement ring nestled inside. The diamond sparkled in the fading light, a symbol of the love and commitment he felt for her. He took her hand in his gaze unwavering as he spoke from the heart. "Naruko Uzumaki, from the moment we met, you've been my source of strength and inspiration. We've faced countless challenges together, and through it all, you've been my rock. I can't imagine my life without you. So, I want to ask you to spend the rest of your life with me. Will you marry me?" Naruko's eyes widened in surprise, her breath catching in her throat. The world seemed to stand still as she processed his words, the enormity of the moment sinking in. Her eyes filled with tears of joy as she looked at the ring, then back at Sasuke. Sasuke, I don't know what to say," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "I'm so overwhelmed." Yes, of course, I'll marry you." Sasuke's face broke into a relieved and joyful smile as he slipped the ring onto her finger. The moment felt timeless, a perfect encapsulation of their love and the journey they had shared. He pulled her into a warm embrace, holding her close as they savored the happiness of the moment. "I love you, Naruko," Sasuke murmured, his voice filled with deep affection. "I love you too, Sasuke," Naruko replied, her voice muffled against his chest. "Thank you for making me the happiest person in the world." As they held each other, the setting sun cast a golden light over them, a symbol of the new beginning they were about to embark on. The world around them seemed to fade away, leaving just the two of them in their own perfect moment. The celebration. The news of their engagement spread quickly through the village, and the people of Konoha celebrated with genuine joy and excitement. The couple's close friends and family gathered to share in their happiness, and the village was filled with festive decorations and the sound of laughter. Tsunade, Kakashi, and Sakura were among the first to offer their heartfelt congratulations. Tsunade embraced Naruko warmly, her eyes sparkling with pride. "Congratulations, Naruko. You and Sasuke make a wonderful pair. I'm so happy for both of you." Kakashi gave Sasuke a playful smirk. "I always knew you were a man of few words, but proposing like that? Classic Sasuke." Sakura hugged Naruko tightly, tears of happiness in her eyes. "I'm so thrilled for you both. You've been through so much, and you deserve all the happiness in the world." As the celebrations continued, Naruko and Sasuke enjoyed the company of their loved ones, basking in the joy and excitement that filled the air. The village's support and love were overwhelming, a testament to the bonds they had formed and the respect they had earned. A new chapter. As the days turned into weeks, Naruko and Sasuke began planning their wedding, a task that brought them even closer together. They worked together to create a celebration that reflected their journey and their love for each other. Every detail, from the venue to the decorations, was a testament to their shared experiences and their future together. The wedding day arrived, bathed in the golden light of summer. The ceremony took place in a beautiful garden, surrounded by the lush greenery and vibrant flowers of Konoha. The atmosphere was filled with love and joy as Naruko walked down the aisle, her heart racing with anticipation. Sasuke stood at the altar, his eyes fixed on Naruko as she approached. His heart swelled with pride and love as he saw her in her wedding dress, a vision of grace and beauty. The moment felt perfect, a culmination of their journey and a beginning of a new chapter. As they exchanged their vows, their voices filled with emotion, they promised to stand by each other through all of life's challenges and triumphs. Their words were a reflection of their deep love and unwavering commitment, a promise to continue their journey together, hand in hand. The ceremony was followed by a joyous reception, where the village came together to celebrate the couple's union. Laughter, music, and dancing filled the air as Naruko and Sasuke enjoyed their special day surrounded by friends and family. As the evening drew to a close, Naruko and Sasuke stood together under the stars, their hearts filled with happiness and contentment. The future stretched out before them, a world of possibilities and adventures waiting to be explored. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her eyes shining with love. "I can't believe how lucky I am. This has been the most incredible journey." Sasuke took her hand in his gaze tender and loving. "And it's just the beginning. We've faced so much together, and we'll continue to face whatever comes our way. Together." As they shared a tender kiss beneath the stars, the world around them seemed to fade away, leaving just the two of them in their perfect moment. The promise of a bright future, filled with love and adventure, stretched out before them. In the heart of Konoha, amidst the celebrations and the joy, a new chapter began for Naruko and Sasuke, a chapter filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. And as they looked forward to their future together, they knew that their journey was far from over, but it would be one they would face with love and unwavering support for each other. Chapter 15, The Wedding, a celebration of love and friendship. The sun bathed Konoha in a warm, golden glow as the long-anticipated wedding day of Naruko and Sasuke arrived. The village was transformed into a vibrant celebration of love and friendship, with decorations adorning every street and laughter echoing through the air. The ceremony was set to take place in the heart of the village, in a beautifully decorated garden surrounded by lush trees and blooming flowers. The venue was a reflection of Naruko and Sasuke's journey, elegant, yet full of life and color. As the guests began to arrive, the atmosphere was filled with excitement and joy. The villagers, friends, and family members gathered to witness the union of two of Konoha's most beloved shinobi. The excitement was palpable, and everyone eagerly anticipated the special moment. Naruko's preparations. Inside a charmingly decorated room, Naruko was preparing for the most important day of her life. Surrounded by her closest friends, Sakura and Hinata, she was a vision of grace and beauty. Her wedding dress was a delicate masterpiece of white and silver, adorned with intricate lace and embroidery that sparkled in the light. Sakura and Hinata helped Naruko with the final touches, their hands steady and their expressions filled with warmth. "You look absolutely stunning, Naruko," Sakura said, her voice filled with admiration. Naruko smiled, her eyes shining with excitement and a touch of nervousness. "Thank you, Sakura. I can't believe today is finally here. It feels like a dream." Hinata gave her a reassuring smile. "Everything is perfect. Sasuke is going to be speechless when he sees you." Naruko's thoughts wandered to Sasuke. She had seen him earlier that morning, and he had looked just as handsome in his formal attire. They had exchanged a few words and a tender kiss, before being separated for the ceremony, each preparing for their role in the day's events. The ceremony begins. As the time for the ceremony approached, the guests took their seats in the beautifully decorated garden. Rows of white chairs were arranged in front of an ornate archway adorned with flowers and ribbons. The soft strains of music filled the air, adding to the enchanting atmosphere. The ceremony began with a gentle breeze rustling through the leaves and flowers. The guests fell into a hushed silence as the music played, signaling the start of the processional. Naruko appeared at the entrance, her arm linked with her father's. She walked down the aisle with a grace that captivated everyone present. Her eyes were fixed on Sasuke, who stood at the altar, his gaze locked on her with a mixture of love and awe. Sasuke's heart raced as he saw Naruko approaching. She was radiant, and seeing her in her wedding dress filled him with a profound sense of joy and anticipation. He couldn't wait to begin their life together. Exchanging vows. As Naruko reached the altar, Sasuke took her hand in his, their fingers intertwining in a gesture of unity and commitment. The officiant, a respected elder of the village, began the ceremony with words of wisdom and love. Naruko and Sasuke exchanged their vows, their voices filled with emotion. Naruko spoke first, her voice steady but tinged with tears. Sasuke, from the moment we met, you have been my rock, my confidant, and my greatest love. I promise to stand by your side through every challenge, to support you, and to love you with all my heart. Sasuke's gaze softened as he spoke his vows. Naruko, you have brought light into my life and shown me what it means to truly care for someone. I vow to protect you, to cherish you, and to always be there for you, no matter what. The officiant concluded the vows with a blessing, and the couple exchanged rings, a symbol of their unbreakable bond. The rings were inscribed with their names and the date of their wedding, a lasting reminder of their commitment to each other. The kiss. As the ceremony drew to a close, the officiant declared them husband and wife. The moment was filled with anticipation as Sasuke and Naruko shared their first kiss as a married couple. The kiss was tender and full of love, a beautiful culmination of their journey together. The guests erupted into applause, their cheers and congratulations filling the garden. Naruko and Sasuke beamed at each other, their hearts overflowing with happiness. The reception. The reception was a lively celebration of love and friendship. The venue was decorated with twinkling lights, and tables were adorned with elegant centerpieces and floral arrangements. The air was filled with the scent of delicious food and the sounds of joyful laughter and music. Naruko and Sasuke shared their first dance as a married couple, their movements synchronized and graceful. The dance floor soon became a hub of activity, with friends and family joining in to celebrate the couple's happiness. Tsunade, Kakashi, and Sakura each gave heartfelt speeches, recounting their memories with Naruko and Sasuke and expressing their joy for the newlyweds. Their words were filled with warmth and admiration, a testament to the couple's impact on their lives and the village. A moment of reflection. As the night wore on, Naruko and Sasuke took a moment to step away from the festivities. They found a quiet corner of the garden, away from the crowd, and took a moment to reflect on the day's events. Naruko leaned against Sasuke, her head resting on his shoulder. Today was perfect, she said softly. I couldn't have asked for anything more. Sasuke wrapped his arms around her, his heart full of love and contentment. It was. And it's only the beginning. We have so much to look forward to. Naruko smiled, her eyes filled with love. I'm so glad we're doing this together. Whatever the future holds, I know we'll face it side by side. As they stood there, under the stars and surrounded by the beauty of the garden, Naruko and Sasuke knew that their journey together was just beginning. Their wedding was not just a celebration of their love, but a promise of the life they would build together, a life filled with adventure, joy, and endless possibilities. A new beginning. The wedding marked the start of a new chapter in their lives, one filled with hope and anticipation. As the night continued and the celebrations carried on, Naruko and Sasuke looked forward to the future with excitement and love. Their story was one of love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond that had brought them together. And as they danced and celebrated with their loved ones, they knew that their journey was far from over. It was a new beginning, a chance to create a life filled with happiness and adventure, hand in hand. In the heart of Konoha, amidst the joy and celebration, Naruko and Sasuke embarked on their greatest adventure yet, a life together, filled with love and the promise of a bright future. Chapter 16, A New Adventure Begins, the next chapter. As the golden hues of dawn broke over Konoha, the village awoke to a new day, filled with promise and excitement. For Naruko and Sasuke, this morning marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, one that would be filled with new adventures and challenges. After the grandeur of their wedding, the couple had taken a brief respite to enjoy some quiet time together. Now, with their hearts full of hope and determination, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead. The new journey. Naruko and Sasuke sat together on the balcony of their home, enjoying a peaceful breakfast. The soft breeze rustled through the trees, and the village below was bathed in the gentle light of the morning sun. The couple's home was a cozy haven, decorated with mementos from their journey and filled with the warmth of their shared experiences. Sasuke looked over at Naruko, a thoughtful expression on his face. We've accomplished so much together already, he said, his voice steady. But there's still so much more out there for us to explore. Naruko smiled, her eyes shining with excitement. I couldn't agree more. There's a whole world beyond Konoha, and I'm eager to see it with you by my side. Sasuke reached across the table, taking her hand in his. Then let's make a plan. There are so many places we've never been, and so many people we haven't met. It's time for a new adventure. Naruko squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with joy. I'm ready. Let's start planning our next journey. Planning the adventure. Over the next few days, Naruko and Sasuke began to plan their new adventure. They pored over maps and scrolls, discussing potential destinations and objectives. Their excitement was palpable, and their enthusiasm for the journey ahead was infectious. They decided to explore regions outside of the Land of Fire, seeking new challenges and opportunities for growth. The goal was not just to see new places, but to continue their personal growth and strengthen their bond. The couple's plans included visiting hidden villages, meeting with old friends, and uncovering ancient secrets. Each destination offered the promise of new experiences and challenges, and they eagerly anticipated the adventures that lay ahead. Farewell to Konoha. Before setting out on their journey, Naruko and Sasuke gathered their friends and family for a farewell gathering. The village was filled with a mix of excitement and sadness as everyone came together to see them off. Tsunade, Kakashi, Sakura, and many others attended the gathering, each expressing their well wishes and support for the couple's new adventure. Tsunade approached Naruko and Sasuke with a warm smile. I'm proud of you both for taking this step. Your journey will not only be an adventure, but also a chance to grow and learn more about yourselves. Kakashi, ever the supportive friend, added, just remember to keep in touch. We'll be here, cheering you on every step of the way. Sakura gave Naruko a heartfelt hug. I know you'll have an amazing time. I can't wait to hear all about your adventures. With hugs, well wishes, and promises to stay in touch, Naruko and Sasuke prepared to leave. The village's support and encouragement were a testament to the bonds they had formed and the love they had earned. Setting out. As the sun set on the day of their departure, Naruko and Sasuke set out from Konoha, their hearts filled with excitement and anticipation. Their journey began with a sense of adventure and wonder, as they ventured into the unknown. Their path took them through lush forests, over rugged mountains, and across bustling cities. Each step brought new challenges and opportunities for growth, and the couple faced them with determination and enthusiasm. Along the way, they encountered various characters, some old friends, and some new faces. They participated in thrilling missions, explored ancient ruins, and uncovered hidden secrets. Each experience strengthened their bond and deepened their understanding of each other. Moments of reflection. As they traveled, Naruko and Sasuke took moments to reflect on their journey and the path that had brought them to this point. They reminisced about their adventures, their challenges, and the love that had blossomed between them. One evening, as they sat by a campfire under a blanket of stars, Naruko looked over at Sasuke with a smile. It's incredible to think about how far we've come. Sometimes it feels like a dream. Sasuke nodded, his gaze fixed on the fire. It does. But it's our dream, and we've made it a reality. I'm grateful for every moment we've shared and excited for what's to come. Naruko leaned her head on his shoulder, her heart full of love. Me too. With you by my side, I know we can face anything. Whatever the future holds, I'm ready for it. The future awaits. As the journey continued, Naruko and Sasuke embraced each new challenge and opportunity with enthusiasm and courage. Their adventures were not just about exploration, but also about deepening their relationship and growing as individuals. Their travels took them to many incredible places, and their story became one of discovery and growth. Each new experience brought them closer together and strengthened their bond. In the heart of their journey, Naruko and Sasuke discovered that the true adventure lay not just in the places they visited but in the journey they shared. Their love and partnership were the foundation of their adventures, and together they faced the future with hope and excitement. The new chapter of their lives was just beginning, and the possibilities were endless. With their hearts united and their spirits high, Naruko and Sasuke looked forward to a future filled with love, adventure, and endless possibilities. As they continued their journey, they knew that whatever challenges and joys lay ahead, they would face them together, hand in hand, and with the unwavering support of each other. Conclusion: a journey's end and a new beginning. As Naruko and Sasuke's epic journey drew to a close, the final chapters of their adventure were filled with reflection, fulfillment, and the promise of a bright future. Their travels had taken them far beyond the borders of Konoha. Through numerous trials and triumphs, and each experience had added to the richness of their shared story. Returning home. After months of exploration and discovery, Naruko and Sasuke returned to Konoha, their hearts full of new experiences and cherished memories. The village welcomed them back with open arms, eager to hear about their adventures and to celebrate their return. The couple's homecoming was marked by a grand celebration, where friends and family gathered to welcome them back. The villagers were excited to hear stories of their travels, the challenges they had overcome, and the new friendships they had made. Reflections on the journey. In the quiet moments after the celebration, Naruko and Sasuke found themselves reflecting on the incredible journey they had shared. They took a moment to sit together in their garden, enjoying the peaceful serenity that had once been their sanctuary. Naruko looked at Sasuke with a soft smile. "It's amazing to think about everything we've experienced. Each moment, each challenge, and each joy has brought us closer together." Sasuke nodded, his gaze steady and thoughtful. "Our journey has been more than just about exploration. It's been about growth, understanding, and the strength of our bond." They spent the evening recounting their favorite moments and discussing the lessons they had learned along the way. Their conversations were filled with laughter, love, and a deep sense of contentment. Planning for the future. With their adventure complete, Naruko and Sasuke began to think about the next phase of their lives. They were eager to continue building their future together, exploring new opportunities, and contributing to the village they loved. They envisioned a life filled with new challenges and joys, both personal and professional. They discussed their dreams and goals, from continuing their training to embarking on new projects that could benefit Konoha and its people. Their plans included mentoring the next generation of shinobi, using their experiences to guide and inspire young warriors. They also hoped to continue their travels, albeit at a more leisurely pace, to keep their spirits adventurous and their bond strong. A legacy of love and adventure. As the sun set on their journey, Naruko and Sasuke looked out over the village they had called home. They knew that their adventures were far from over and that their story was still unfolding. Their love and partnership had been the cornerstone of their journey, and they were excited to see what the future held. Their shared experiences had not only strengthened their bond but had also prepared them for the new challenges and joys that lay ahead. In Konoha, their story became one of inspiration and hope. They were celebrated not only for their bravery and accomplishments, but also for the love and commitment they had shown each other. Their journey had been a testament to the power of love and the strength of a united heart. A new dawn. As they stood together, hand in hand, facing the horizon, Naruko and Sasuke knew that the future was filled with endless possibilities. Their adventure had taught them that no matter where life took them, their love and partnership would be the guiding light that led them through. With a heart full of hope and a spirit ready for whatever came next, Naruko and Sasuke embraced the new dawn of their lives. They were ready to write the next chapter of their story, together, and to face whatever challenges and joys the future held. Their journey had been extraordinary, and their love was a beacon of hope and inspiration. As they looked forward to the adventures yet to come, they knew that their story was one of endless possibilities, love, and the promise of a bright and fulfilling future. That's the end of my story.